Hi guys, Eminem from Let's Go Fishing. Um, got back yesterday from then Somerset. It was a hard journey because it was hot, and we hit some heavy traffic on the way home because of Glastonbury. That was down there. Okay, a lot left on Sunday, but some stragglers still pulling on the motorway. Up by Bridgewater, and yeah, I'm going to do a summary of the days we were down there, and also, excuse me, I just had something to eat. Meat stuck in my teeth. Sorry. Yeah, so my new thing come while I was away, my new tripod thing that's supposed to, each time you move, revolves, which can't wait to have a play with it. And yeah, it was a good 5.5 days. Because left here Tuesday, gets down there for about 12:30. Because as I said, my van only does 55 mile an hour top end, but if you're going downhill with a good wind behind it, as Paul said, it does 65 miles an hour. Wow. But just didn't want to go speeding anyway. I'm not a speed freak. Even when I'm going down the motorway in my car, put it in cruise and I'll travel at 66 mile an hour. Yeah. Even when I'm driving down in the night time, I could put my feet down, but I don't want to. It's not worth it. Because, you know, rush around too much, bang, something could happen. So, of course, on the Wednesday morning, we get down there. We start fishing about, 5:30, I think it was. And we had no show. We had a couple of bites, that was it. And most of all, as I said, I took frozen bait down with me. And there was nothing going on. I've just spotted a weather balloon, I'm sure I have. Is it? No, it's a plane. I thought it was a weather balloon, the way it was, how slow it looks for me going across. Anyway, so in the morning we didn't really catch, we just had a few little bites. Or as I call snatch bites. And wasn't that good. And then we went out on the beach and dug a few worms. When the tide was a bit too close in, so we only stopped there for 20 minutes, but we had more success then. Had a lot more bites. And then I set up my 4 rods, and I said, well, set up my 2, and set up some rods for Paul to use. And I said the first bite that comes along, Paul, doesn't matter, it's on my rods or on your rods, please take it. And when he did, he hit his first fish, which was a dogfish, and he was elated. And nobody was more elated than Paul, but I think I was more elated for Paul because of him catching a dogfish straight away. Well, not straight away, but you know, and it was on worm, which we dug up that day, and I was happy. I was really ecstatic for him. I thought, great stuff. That was our first day. Our second day, we didn't do too good. Oh, I did. I caught a pouting. That was on the evening tide. Morning tide, no, didn't catch anything. So I said, no, yeah, we didn't catch on the morning tide because we run out of worms. And then I said, on the Thursday, we're going to Minehead. We went into Minehead on the Thursday. Went into Minehead on the Friday. I'm getting beyond myself here. Anyway, Thursday come round, and I said, right, sorry, Friday come round, I thought, right, we're going to Minehead and get some fresh bait. Because there was a bloke there called Alan. He caught a beautiful, beautiful conger eel. Oh God, it was lovely. I had to hold his rod for him because the tide was still coming in. I said, do you need a hand, mate? And he said, if you don't mind. So I held on to his rod for him while he went down on the shore just as the tide was coming in. He was lucky. He had about 3 or 4 foot to run along the shingle, and every now and again a wave would hit his foot, but it wasn't big waves. They were only like little about that high coming in and going over. It went just ankle deep. And as you see, I kept showing people that it was calm, and it was. And of course, straight away he was using a wishbone rig, which I've never made up myself, but they're supposed to be good. Well, it shows you how good they were. He caught a conger on it. He had 2 little bits of ragworm on this wishbone rig, and he caught. He went down to get it, and also as he firstly just grabbed the leader line to pull the conger towards him. The line, well, his hook just bent out straightish. Oh, mate. Yeah, not too bad, mate. And of course, it was a case of that was lucky. But yeah, he come up, and I've done an interview with him, and we tried to talk about fishing. He didn't know what to say. He was a bit embarrassed. I said, just follow my lead, mate. Talk about everything and anything. And again, I'm the first time, because I do watch other videos on other people fishing. And there's a place, I forget what, I will get the name of where they do it a lot, what I watch, and there's a bloke just on his phone like myself. He does fishing, and you see him catching dabs. You see him catching all flatties, sole, dabs, flounders, and also they catch smoothhound and bass and whiting and pouting and that, like, you know. And I looked at it, and I seen the way they score them, because he showed me he does it, catch and release straight away. They've got a bucket with water in. I said they can't fish on a contest unless they've got a bucket. They've got to have their own bucket. Only like that, about that deep bucket. Put a bit of water in, so when they are, because when they're competition fish, they unclip, put it in the bucket, put another clip on and cast straight out. As soon as they've cast it straight out, then they measure it with a witness there. They measure it with the witness signs it, that the length and what fish it was. Then they score points from it, and that's the way they do their competitions. And then they work it out into pounds and whatever. But it was good, and it was interesting. Well, I found it interesting because I think if you're going to catch it, if you're on a contest on the sea, on the shore, right? I do believe in catch and release. As you know, I'm more of a conservation fisherman, and I do believe that's the way forward, because you're not taking a fish out, taking them in a bucket, taking them to a weighing station, and by the time you've weighed them all up. By the time you got to go to put them out, the tide's gone out. Yeah. And then you're losing loads of fish. You may have about 40 blokes fishing, and they catch about 100 fish, or probably more. And they're keeping them just in one bucket. Nah. But the way that bloke showed me, I mean, you'll see it on one of my videos. Me and Kevin, Alan are talking. And he did say to me, he said, well, my name's on here. And when we stopped filming, I said, Alan, I'm dyslexic, mate, I couldn't read your T-shirt. He went, oh, sorry, I apologise. But he was a nice guy, real nice guy. And the way he was casting, I wish I could cast like that. Jesus Christ. Because he does tournament, he does all the big main events, but he's a tournament caster as well, and he was banging it out. I would say just over 200 yards. I thought, wow, because there was no wind about, there was no drag, but Jesus Christ, when I said, what do you like with a fixed ball reel? He said, I don't like them because he had an accident once with a fixed ball and it caught his finger. So he said he went to multipliers. He said it took him really roughly a year to learn how to cast that far. He said it took me ages and ages to learn to cast like that. But you got to have the room to cast the way you can. They do a figure of 8 and then wang it out. But the trouble is with down below anchor, you got to be careful where you are just in case it shoots off and it's on somebody else's car. But I'm giving him a shout out. Alan, if you watch this, well done, mate. Much appreciate the advice you give me about the casting. Love it. Thank you, mate. And well done for catching that conger. And I would say that conger was touching, we said double figures, we said about 12 pounds. I reckon it may have been closer to 13, 14 pounds because the head on it was massive. Oh God, it was gorgeous. Anyway, Alan, thank you, mate, for showing us your the way you fish on your contests. Anyway, he said he would be down the following night on the night time, but he didn't because the only reason why he was there because he was visiting somebody. I said, well, that's about double bonus. And he visiting somebody, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to go fishing. He's quids in. Anyway. He didn't come down on the same night. Sorry, he didn't come down in the morning. He come 2 days later, and I think he was on a Sunday night. He come down. Sunday morning he come down, and he was a bit late getting there, but he still got a spot. And again, I was watching him cast, and I thought, oh God, that's poetry in motion. But anyway, me and Paul caught a few more. We caught, Paul caught a dogfish, a pouting, caught a dogfish, conger eel, bugger, a small conger eel, only a strap. It's only about like 2 to 3 pounds. And when I dropped it, when I took it off the hook, there's a hole in the wall. All the way along, there's little holes in the wall like that. Only about that depth, but about that long. And what that is where when the tide comes over, or it's raining, the water runs off into the sea. It stops the path getting flooded. Yeah, okay. And anyway, the conger decided to budge his nose through, and he got halfway through because the wall's that thick. Yeah, right, the wall's that thick on the top, and he's trying to get through, and all I couldn't see his head. I could just see a little bit of his tail sticking out, and I was trying to grab it. Anyway, I did grab it in the end and drop it over, well, threw it over the water into the water, and that was Paul's first conger. And then the following day, he caught a whiting, and then So that he was 3 fish up on me. I was 2 fish. I had a pouting and a whiting. And anyway, he was fishing again. No, Saturday. He was fishing. And my mate turned up, or one of the crew, one of my posse. Kevin turned up. And we were talking away, like, you know. And he turned up on a Saturday night. Saturday morning. No, tell a lie, Saturday afternoon he turned up, pulled up in front of me, parked up and started fishing. We're having a laugh and joke. And all of a sudden he's turning up. I'm talking to him with my back towards the rods. And Paul was like, I don't know what Paul was doing. I know Paul was sitting there. Paul was making himself a rollie. And all of a sudden, he said, "Oh, your rod's gone." And I looked round and I didn't see it budge. I said, "Did you see that?" And I said to Paul, "Did you see it go?" He went, "No." So anyway, we didn't see it go. And then Kevin went and sorted his rods out and that, you know, because he thought he had a bite and he went. And I'm standing there, and I'm fiddling about with my bays, and all of a sudden Paul's rod goes bang once. So Paul's jumped up and struck, and he's reeled it in. And he's gone, "I got nothing on this." Anyway, as he brought it in, I think it was that first bang was where a white and a swamp passed, gone to grab the worm and got itself stuck in a gill. And the second bang, we didn't realise till after, when he brought it in. I said, "Oh, by the way, Paul," I looked at it and I went, because you know when a whiting's still alive, it still moves a bit. I said, "You caught a dead fish." He said, "Don't be a prat, how can I catch a dead fish?" I said, "We caught it in its gill, so it may have got stuck and it died." Anyway, brings it up the wall, this whiting. It was about a hand size, this whiting was. But down the one side, there was a big bite mark on it. He said, "If I would have left that a bit longer," he said, I said, "To me, it looked like a conga that had to go at it, mate." So, yeah. So he missed out on that one because the radius of the bite mark was like massive. It was half the size of the whiting. And I thought that would have been a big conga. And it would have been great if he would have caught that one as well. But look happens, he didn't. But it was an eventful week. As I said, when me and my mate Paul get together, we was talking about old times, when we used to work together, when we used to go out drinking together. Well, him and my brother used to drink, I used to just get up on the dance floor. But we used to have some good cracks, and then when we used to go weight training together, then when we started doing our martial arts together, we was talking about certain people in the group who done martial arts, and there was one lad there called Smelly Dave, and he stunk. But he popped Paul's knee once. He done a move wrong and bang, his knee, knocked his knee out of place. But he got repaired because we were younger then. You heal quicker when you're younger. When you're older, you don't. So of course, while I'm talking to him, he's remembering, still got the capacity to still remember things. And it was nice that I took him. And when we got home, yeah, I sat him in the garden to have because I said, "Do you want the toilet?" He went, no. And when he got out of the van, he nearly fell out because his legs were killing him. Because it was a good 3.5 hour journey, well, nearly 4 hour journey because of the bleeding traffic. And of course, he sat in the garden, I've done him a fresh cup of tea. I said, I'll get all your stuff out the van, Paul, put it in the car and I'll take you home. And of course, my wife says, how did you go? How was it? I said, great. And then I got a bit emotional. I said, well, I've had a great day, I've had a great week with my mate. Had some fun time. And this is when I started to get emotional. I said, it's going to forget all this. It's going to forget all this happened. My wife looked at me, she goes, at the time, let's embrace what's happened this week. And she's right. She is right. And I have embraced it, and that's my memories now. It's good. And I'm just hoping that Paul's memory doesn't start going too quick, because I still want to be able to take him down the coast with me. I said, well, he made a joke to his wife when we got home. He says, Colin's putting up his van for sale and he's going to get a smaller one. That'll be in 2 weeks' time, won't it, Carl? I went, what you mean? He said, we're going out to get it in 2 weeks. We're going to get your new van. I went, I ain't sold me old one yet. He said, no, but 2 weeks, ain't it? And I went, yeah, go on then, Paul. You know, because he wants to go again. Now, within showing enthusiasm, he's keeping this going. And that's what I'm intending to do, try and keep him focused. One of his sons turned in and said, because all his family have been watching the videos as soon as I've put them on, and they've been saying, his son Ross turned in and said, they shouldn't be doing that, they shouldn't have gone. Said why, and his mum said why. He said they're bloody enjoying themselves, look, they're laughing and joking, that's not allowed. And his mum turned around and told him to shut up, they're enjoying themselves, your dad needs it. I think I needed it as much as Paul, because catching up on old times, remembering what we used to do, and remember what a little bit of lovable rogues we were back then. And yeah, it's again, great weekend. Sorry, great weekend, great week. And I did go out and buy, well, you see, if you see the videos, you see I got to watch my Bucking and Spade. He didn't make any sandcastles with the Bucking and Spade, because Sunday morning we finished, it was absolutely roasting. So within half an hour after we finished, we packed up, got the van ready, got on the road, and just wanted to get home really. It isn't that because we had enough of each other. It was because we, it's just because we needed to get home, because it was sunny and boiling hot. But I only found out today, I've been into work, and you ain't gonna believe this. If I would have phoned up my friend, Carl, on Saturday or Sunday and asked him for the rota, my work rota, we could have stopped down there till this Thursday. But I couldn't really, because I had to come back and do the kids' grading. I've done all my kids' grading tonight, and luckily enough, all the young kids passed, which I'm happy about. Some of them just about, but some of them didn't. But there you go. So this is for last week's lot. I haven't put the titles on yet, but I'm going to have a word with my wife to help me put the titles on so people know what they are. I just might put on the first one, Colin and Paul's road trip for the week, and it'll be on probably every one of them, you know, and then I'll put this as roundup for the week. But it was fun, enjoyed it, and yeah, it was good. Like to do it again. Never know, I might be able to do it in August, because all the kids are like on a holiday. I don't have to come back on the Tuesday to the karate, so we could spend a couple of weeks down there. I don't know, all depends how the money situation is. And yeah, if I haven't sold that van by then, I'll use that again. It was, as I said, it was all good, all good. But if we do go down again, I just might try one day on the further back, you know, down, instead of where we park normally, on the beach itself. But you got to get everything prepared before you go on the beach. And mind you, we could take all day to do that, because there's no rush. And yeah, it was just an eventful week. As I said, we counted so many people who walked with a limp while we were waiting for the tide to come in. Counted how many people who were walking with them buggies, and we counted how many people walked with a walking stick or had a walking stick. That's how we kept ourselves amused. Plus messing about, laughing and joking, and sometimes I would sit there and remake rigs up. And yeah, I haven't cleaned my van out today, but I'll be cleaning it out tomorrow. But while I'm cleaning it out, I'm going to put a for sale sign on the back. See if anybody comes round, and if they say it's just gone through its MOT. So it's got 12 months MOT on it. And it was just fun being out there, having a laugh with my mates. Yeah, it was great stuff. So from Eminem and Paul, he's not here, but I'm going to say it from Paul. From Eminem, as he calls me, Mr. Sticky, because I had an accident. And I'm going to call him the old timer with Alzheimer's, what he said to me, and I'm going to call it him now. All right, old timer with Alzheimer's, please watch this, guys. And Paul, if you watch this, mate, we will do it again soon. And I loved the fun we had. Just reminded me of old times. And his missus just looked, she said, when you two get together, you're a pair of buggers. And she's right, we used to be back then. As I said, I've known Paul 53 years, and we worked it out. And I've known his wife 49 years. Yeah, bloody long time. Good friends. As I said, I never encroach on people if they got their own. I always let people live their own lives. I've never always been one pushy to, you know, well, we've got to keep in touch, or I want to go around there. But I just want to help a friend and his wife and family. Because of his illness. And as I said, if I can keep him focused as long as I can, I will do it. And by the way, Denise, next time you make a sponge cake, can you make it bigger? Yeah, big long one. Yeah, not just a round one, but a big long one and about that thick. Oh, she made a lovely cake and it was gorgeous. We ate it. We was taking dough. I just said, oh, I like this cake. And then all of a sudden I said, oh, Paul, do you want any more? He went, no. I said, well, I'm going to have a bit more. And me with my diabetes, everybody been going, what's your diabetes, what's your diabetes? But I don't have sugar in everything. I'm very careful. Look, Pepsi Max, 0 everything on there, look. See? zero everything. So I do watch what I'm drinking and eating. Doesn't sound like it, but I do. If I do go down in that van again, if I am going to try and sort the smell of gas that's coming from the pipe. Oh, it stunk. As soon as I put the thingy on to start cooking, it smelled. So I've done one meal with this, and then I used my little camping cooker. I needed it. I couldn't, because the smell of the gas was making me feel ill, so I took it off. Anyway, guys, this is Eminem and his mate Paul, who's not here. But he's at home now, probably kipping. Oh, right, that was another thing. Every time we had something to eat, he'd just start going. We were lucky we was in Minehead walking about when we had some fish and chips. Yeah, he was shocked at how much it come to. I was shocked. I bought 4 bottles of cider. Only 8 big. Like 24 quid. And I went down the road last night. When I come home yesterday, I went down the road to get myself some more cigarettes. I said, how much? And I looked at the same bottle I bought from down the coast. It was only £2.50. What? I went absolutely ape. I went, I paid that. And I asked the bloke, I said, how much would you pay for 4 bottles anyway? He give me the amount that would have cost. He said, that would have cost you about 10 quid, go. I went, yeah. I said, well, I went and bought Copperberg. That's what I bought. So I bought 4 Copperberg ciders, with the different flavours. And yeah, I said, 24 quid. He went, you were robbed. I said, robbed? I could have bought bloody 8. I said, I could have bought another 6 with that, could you? Down there. He went, yeah. I went, yeah, I ain't going to do that again. And so next time, if I take a little bit of alcohol with me, I will buy it from Aldi. Or no, Lidl. They're only little bottles about yay big. And I can always take some lemonade and make them into a shandy. Actually, they are good for a shandy. That size bottle, pint glass, top it up with a lemonade. Shandies all the way. Brilliant, yeah. Anyway, guys, catch you later. And please subscribe. I want to get some more subscribers. I'm hoping, I said I did want to get 500 by Christmas. That's not happening. I've only got 164, I think, or 64. I'm trying. Come on, guys, come and help me try and get up to 500 before Christmas. For the next couple of days now, I'll be cleaning up the van. Clean up all little bits of flecky paint coming off. I'm going to tidy up and everything full of sallies. Well, actually, if somebody comes along and say you buy it as it is, you know what I mean? I thought, I'm not going to lie to them. I'll say, got a bit of a gas leak, but that can be sorted. And also, I'll say, it just needs looking at. A bit of tender loving care. Because I neglected it a bit. I've just left it out there, just let it sit there. But I got to admit, when I got in it to drive it, it was great because I got new tyres on, and there was a big bloody difference. And believe it or not, the mileage, driving it with decent tyres on, I was getting more miles per gallon. Somebody has just shot a pigeon out the bleeding tree. See them pigeons going over? Somebody just shot a pigeon out the bleeding tree here. They're buggers. I'm in my back garden. Have you seen the size of my shed? For this shed. That's 28 foot wide by 15 foot deep. Yeah, it's massive. Anyway, guys, Eminem signing out. Catch you later. Catch you on the next adventure of probably me and Paul or me on my own. Catch you later, boys. Bye.